And with our first story that I have for you today, just need to fix something. All right, there we go. That's great. So now, the first story that I would like to go and report is easily the biggest news that has happened this week. When the week began, this is the one major thing that a lot of people have been talking about. We have all been waiting for this ever since award season has begun. So now, let us get into the Oscars. Yes, this week, the list of Oscar nominations has officially been revealed, and there have been plenty of things to go and discuss about. Now, of course, I would like to get this out of the way that there have been a few snubs that people would talk about, especially regarding Uncut Gems and Adam Sandler not getting an Oscar nomination for Best Actor. The one time he legitimately would earn one, he didn't get it, unfortunately. And of course, there have been controversies that have been passing around. Some people would go and say that Oscar So White is back, mainly because almost all the people nominated for the actors and actresses list is pretty much white. And then you also got Oscar So Male, because all the people nominated for Best Director are just male directors. But let's go and try to check out some of them, some of the categories, like the main ones to go and highlight, starting things off with Best Picture, because a lot of them, they do have the movies that do receive the most nominations, including Ford vs. Ferrari, The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, Marriage Story, 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Parasite. And by the way, just on a side note, I would like to add that when it comes to Joker, that's the one that got the most nominations this year with 11. Meanwhile, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and 1917, they both got 10 nominations each. But considering this is AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast, let's go and highlight the ones that we would be more interested. How about starting with Best Visual Effects? Because that's kind of like animation, but in live-action movies. And the nominees for those are Avengers Endgame, The Irishman, 1917, The Lion King, and Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. The next thing we should highlight is going to be for Best Original Song, and the nominees for those are I Can't Let You Throw Yourself Away from Toy Story 4. I'm Gonna Love Me Again from Rocketman. I'm Standing With You from Breakthrough. Into the Unknown from Frozen 2. And Stand Up from Harriet. But then we also got the animation categories, and this is the ones that we animation fans have been looking forward to. And let's start things off with Best Animated Short. And the nominees for those are DeSera, Hair Love, Kit Bull, Memorable, and Sister. And then finally, the big one, Best Animated Feature. And man, this is a pretty unique list because not many people would expect this one. The nominees are How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World, I Lost My Body, Klaus, Missing Link, and finally, Toy Story 4. So with all of that said, Cell, would you like to express some of your opinions regarding some of these nominations, or mainly with Best Animated Feature?
Well, considering the general disdain that the Academy has had towards streaming services in the past, I'm thrilled to see 2 Netflix nominations in the animated feature category.
Yes. Sorry to interrupt, but also that's another great thing to point out because with both Klaus and I Lost My Body, they are both the first ever movies from Netflix to be nominated for Best Animated Feature. So you may continue.
Yes, that's true. I've generally, attributing, if I'm perfectly honest, I think that the theatrical animated lot was a little weak this year, which may be attributed to this phenomenon. I'm honestly more impressed that Frozen 2 did not get nominated. But no, I'm thrilled that I Lost My Body is there. I am extremely thrilled that Klaus is there. I like that Missing Link gets some recognition because I feel that was very underappreciated. I always appreciate when Leica gets some cred. I'm glad that to a certain degree, I'm a little surprised that I think Missing Link won the Golden Globes, but I'm kind of okay with it.
Yeah.
Toy Story 4 is still there because I think Toy Story 4 was great, so I'm fine with that being there.
Mhm.
But in terms of like Disney sometimes feeling like it's taking over the world sometimes, like I said, I'm glad that kind of Frozen 2 is not there. And of course, the third one for our favorite DreamWorks franchise.
Yeah.
Uh, or maybe I mean Kung Fu Panda is also up there.
Yeah.
Glad to see the finale of that on there. It's one of these cases like I would love Klaus, kind of like with Spider Verse. I would kind of like Klaus to win just for kind of like what that would do to the industry.
Yeah, that is true. It would be like a bit of an interesting twist that it doesn't necessarily always have to be Disney. And honestly, I really do agree.
Exactly.
I really do agree with you. And I have seen a lot of people state that technically the biggest animation snub this year would be the fact that Frozen 2 did not actually get a nomination. But I feel like this is a little bit of a similar case to Finding Dory. While it is a really good sequel, or at least I find it to be a really good sequel, like the reason why it didn't get nominated is mainly because there are a lot of great movies that are in its place. Like for me, I feel
Mm-hmm.
like with this entire category, I'm honestly perfectly okay with it. I don't know if I would really want to go and make a few adjustments. That's an interesting question. If you would change something in the best animated feature category, what would you do? I'm honest.
Honestly, I would put Lego Movie 2 in there above Frozen 2. Uh, that's just me. I'm a sucker for the Lego. I'm a sucker for the Lego movies, and I don't. I do think that Frozen 2 was good. I just, it's one of those things that's like you made your $1 billion. That's what you wanted out of it. You don't need the award too. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, like
so
technically, it already got the nomination for best original song with Into the Unknown, and I mean, like
right. So it's
that.
still there.
Yeah,
So I'm kind. So again, I'm perfectly fine with that. It's more that the fascinating nature of Frozen 2 that the opinions are kind of all over the place. Uh, but generally happy. I'm happy with this list. I'm fine with it being the way it is.
yeah. I mean, if I could be honest with me, if I would make one adjustment, then it would probably be with I Lost My Body. Now, I understand I Lost My Body is there mainly because it is like the mandatory indie film. But for me, I have
Mm,
seen I Lost My
it's fair.
Body, and that one is a little iffy to me. I'm not saying it's a bad film at all. It's just it's not a pleasant film to watch if that does make sense. Like maybe I would need another watching to fully understand it more with what it's trying to do, but if I would make a change, I would swap I Lost My Body with Weathering With You because I just saw that this week and
Always appreciated anime. I have not seen Weathering with You. I'm actually going to see that tonight. But no, yeah, I would very much like it if the Academy started paying attention to more anime films.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, just like last year, like with the first time where it was the first time that a non-Studio Ghibli film got nominated with Mirai. Remember that?
That's right. Oh, I was really happy to see that because I love more Hosoda.
Yeah. So yeah, and so I guess with best animated feature, here is a big question though. If you would have to go and pick one to actually be the winner, like who would you think deserves to win the most, or which one do you think would win?
Uh, it's kind of a hard call. I mean, if we're going with statisticals, I think a lot of people are probably just going to end up going with Toy Story 4 because Toy Story is a very familiar franchise. It's one, and like I said earlier, I would like it for Claus to win because I would like what influence that would have to the industry. I would like people to pay attention and start experimenting with more animation styles more. I think that Toy Story 4 probably will. And generally, like, I wouldn't even necessarily hate it if it did. I think that Toy Story 4, again, another kind of all of the Disney and Pixar sequels have had like a big range of responses. I like what Toy Story 4 did with its narrative.
Mhm.
I think it went into a really interesting, unique direction, and it was probably, in terms of story, one of the more interesting ones this year. So I'd be fine. I'd be okay if that won. I'd also be okay with Disney not winning.
Okay, understandable. For me, I would say, like, for my personal pick, among all these, I would actually go for Toy Story 4. I love that movie so much. I feel like it really did achieve the impossible and really elevate and continue the story and meet to the same standards as the previous Toy Story films. Like, even after doing a perfect ending with Toy Story 3, after Toy Story 3. But for me, honestly, I feel like who would actually win? I feel like for the first time ever for the best animated feature category, it's completely unpredictable. Like I don't
It
know.
really is. It's kind of a crapshoot at this point.
Absolutely. For me, it's like it's one of three choices that I feel like would eventually end up being the winner. I feel like it's going to be a major toss up between Klaus, Missing Link, and Toy Story 4. And for me, I would say it's mainly because of the Golden Globes that really
Right.
threw me off in terms of who's going to be the one that would ultimately be the winner. So I feel like it's going to be like one of those three is going to end up winning the Oscars, but I feel like it's going to be one of those things where it will be a bit of a wait and see. Now, maybe a lot of people are right. Maybe Toy Story 4 would win, and if so, I'll be happy with it because I really like the film. But honestly, like with any of them, I would definitely be happy if they did win the Oscar.
Yeah, I'm generally like I've it's always a bummer when they have those years where someone just feels like a fill-in vote. Uh especially when you know that there are some movies that a lot of them didn't even see, like a lot of anime movies. But no, generally speaking, anything here would be deserving of the award, which is always good when that happens.
Absolutely. And regarding some of the other categories, do you have any comments on that? Like best animated short or some of the others you would like to express your thoughts?
Well, I haven't seen. I'm not so much on into visual effects, and I don't know if I'm a good judge of like what particularly is great about them. I always prefer visual effects to be more creative than just realism. So I have no. I genuinely don't particularly care if I mean and the whole thing with the de-aging technology in Irishman, like again, I just don't think I'm a good one to judge that. I
Hmm.
don't want Lion King to win just because I don't want it to. Uh and the shorts, I haven't seen all of the shorts. I have seen Hair Love and I have seen Kit Bull, and I love both of those. And I would love for either of them to win, but I haven't checked out the other ones yet.
Yeah, honestly, the same with me. I would say the exact same for Best Animated Short. The only ones that I have legitimately seen are Hair Love and Kitbull. Kitbull, I was honestly surprised to see it be nominated here, considering it is just a Pixar Spark short. Like, it's one of their more experimental
Right.
shorts that they would
Mhm.
let some of their beginner animators that they would do on the side. And seeing that one getting nominated was honestly quite a shocker, but major congrats on them. And I'm really happy to see Hair Love to be nominated. I love that short. It always
Oh
puts
god,
me
that short is amazing.
it
Oh, it's
it
adorable.
always puts me nearly in tears. And the funny thing is that I remember during the summer, whenever people would go and talk a little bit about the Angry Birds movie, like in my mind, or like yeah, because like it appeared in front of the Angry Birds movie too, and on my
Right.
mind, I was thinking it's like yeah, that's nice, yeah, it's funny, it's a surprise and stuff like that. But Hair Love though, you gotta love Hair Love.
Go pay the $10, go see Hair Love, and then you can leave.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Like that
If it,
actually used to happen. I think that at one point before trailers were like released widely on YouTube, I think that there was a couple time that my parents went to the movie theaters just to watch trailers, and then they would go into a different movie.
Oh wow. They would just watch the trailers for one thing and then just jump to the next feature.
Yeah, I think that was around when Lord of the Rings was coming out. They're big fantasy buffs, so they went to whatever movie had the statistical possibility of showing the Lord of the Rings trailer, and then they would see a different movie.
The struggle of the pre-YouTube days are real, aren't they?
They really are. You young whippersnappers will never understand what we went through.
They'll never understand like going through the list of trailers before starting the movie, whether it be in cinemas or like before a VHS and DVD.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah, those were
Think you wouldn't know a movie was come out until you actually went to the movie theater.
yes. There used to be
It's weird.
surprises. Yeah, and
You had no choice but to watch television live. You had to watch. Well, we had VHSs, but
well, I mean, and even at that, our choices are very limited. In fact, we didn't even
right.
have much choice.
I mean, we still had more than like the '80s and the '70s, but there you go.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Still, it is hard for me to say, about some of the other nominations. Like, honestly, the one thing I would disagree with you a little bit is the nomination on The Lion King for Best Visual Effects. I know that a lot of people do have a grudge on The Lion King, but if it would be nominated for one award, it would specifically be for Best Visual Effects. Like, yeah, the use of it is not great for the purpose of the movie, but at least it really achieved amazingly on a technical level, to really bring to basically bring the entire to bring the entirety of Africa to life. Like, that's one thing that, like, yeah, okay, it deserves that one nomination, but that's pretty much it.
No, I'm not saying that it didn't deserve it. I'm just saying I don't want it to win.
Okay, yeah, fair point. But
no, like I'm not saying it's not bad technology. Like same thing with the de-aging. Sometimes it's like I'm impressed at some of the things we're able to do, but I don't. That's not. It's like I'm me being impressed by technology is not what makes me like a movie.
Yeah, but one thing I will say
that's my entire thing about motion capture too. It's like, yes, I'm impressed. I didn't enjoy this movie.
Yeah, fair point. But one thing I will say with Best Visual Effects is that I do start to see a pattern with it. And usually with Best Visual Effects, they don't often go with like the big name pictures. So honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if movies like Rise of Skywalker, Lion King, and Endgame, they don't actually get it. I would actually see.
Right.
I would honestly see something like Irishman or 1917 actually have a stronger chance to win an Oscar for Best Visual Effects than any of those.
Well, that is the thing these days. As the technology gets more and more, it's more about who's the best at hiding the seams.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, which is, and also, well, just in general, if the Academy had an option, they'd probably vote for the more serious dramas anyway if they had a choice. Mm-hmm. And granted, like I did see the de-aging technology in The Irishman. I haven't seen 1917 yet, so I don't know how great that is. And in terms of, I know that it's another like non-moving shot, and I hope it's just not a case of like, oh my god, we can't see where the hidden cut is.
Yeah.
It's not the first one to do that. But we'll see. No, I can't judge it because I haven't seen it, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yes, and I think I almost forgot to mention from my previous statement at the beginning, but also with The Irishman, I forgot to mention that's also another one that got nominated for 10 Oscars along with 1917 and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yep.
I guess the only question now, this is probably the big, craziest question. Like, even though you might not have seen all these movies, but would you want to take a shot and guess who do you think would win Best Picture?
Oh God, I don't know. After at this point, there's virtually no way to win. Like these days, when I think about who will win, that's a different question of which one I think is the best, because the way that the Oscars vote on these things is so weird, and as we saw last year, kind of ends up being a middle of the road kind of thing. It's not about which is the best, it's which is the one that people probably consider. It's which one will get the most votes, which one will have the least votes, I guess. Which is kind of hard to face. I don't think it's going to be Joker.
Yeah, me
I just don't think the Academy's still in this place where it's willing to pacify the internet masses by nominating them. They're still not up to actually letting them win.
Yeah, it's like so in the case of Joker, you say like it's more of a crowd pleaser type of nomination, a little bit like last year with Bohemian Rhapsody.
Right. You know what? It might be The Irishman just because Martin Scorsese blew a big stinking stink about it. So it was in the news for a while. It might just be that for that reason. Just
I
in terms
don't
of
know. Yeah, go
if
on.
I'm talking about anything that I think would just get votes because it's been in the news recently, it'd probably be that. I'd really like it if Parasite won. Because I don't think they've done a foreign film for Best Picture yet. Uh
Yeah, and especially with Parasite, it has been getting a lot of records considering that this is South Korea's first their first big chance at getting into the Oscars. Like, it's the first South Korean film to be nominated for an Oscar in general, and the first one to be nominated for Best Picture as well.
right. No, I don't know how many people would vote for it. I would love it if it won. Uh I haven't seen Marriage Story. I do know that there are two Netflix films on here.
Mm-hmm. Well,
And I don't know if
you got The
yeah,
Irishman and Marriage Story, yeah.
yeah. In terms of the others, like I just don't know because some of the other ones aren't as widely released. If they would, I mean, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood's got a decent shot just because it's about Hollywood, and boy, Hollywood loves movies about Hollywood.
That is absolutely true.
Uh huh.
No, and honestly, that's the one thing that I do disagree with you a little bit. I feel like it is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, for that reason, would probably have the strongest chance of
Right.
actually winning Best Picture. Now, it might not, and you could be right. It could be The Irishman, but I wouldn't be surprised if they would go after Once Upon a Time in Hollywood because it is a movie about Hollywood, and plus the fact that you got all the big lovable celebrities and filmmakers working on it, that it is like with Margot Robbie, Brad Pitt, Leo DiCaprio,
Mhm.
and especially this is a Quentin Tarantino movie. So the like it would make some pretty big headlines if they would state that Quentin Tarantino has finally made a Best Picture film, because pretty soon he's no longer going to be making movies. Like, he did announce that he has like one or two left in his system.
You know, that's probably a factor. They really do like to give awards to people that they feel have been long denied them for a while and may not have chances in the future. So that's I think that's also additionally a factor. So and then 1917 is a war film. Those always have a decent shot.
That
So
oh that yeah, that is a very good point. And again, like you mentioned, like with The Irishman, that's another one where with 1917 people are really talking about it a lot, especially with the filmmaking process and how they try to seamlessly make it all one shot for everything. I could
mhm.
definitely see I could definitely see
They
it through
really do
that
love
perspective.
that. They love that gimmick.
Oh yeah. I mean, there are some movies that do it well, and
Oh
I'm
yeah, definitely. I'm not saying it's not a fun gimmick. I'm just saying you can tell. It's like, okay, so this one's going for an Oscar.
like one of my favorite Hitchcock movies is Rope, which honestly is very underappreciated and such a fantastic film. But like, they could go for 1917 in the same way that they went for Birdman, because that's technically
Right.
like the same thing.
Yep. Except
So,
Birdman was also technically about acting and stuff. So,
oh yeah, that's technically like another like Hollywood type movie about
yep.
Hollywood.
Is one where the actor gave it to the critic and it's like, man, I bet everybody loved that.
Oh
You might as
yeah.
well have been giving those showbiz people exactly what they wanted.
If it's about me, then it wins. But yeah, I think we've pretty much covered the most that we could say about the Oscars. So I think to cap this off, I would like to say congratulations to all the people that are nominated. And we don't have to wait for too long, considering that the Oscars are going to be on February 9th. So mark your calendars for that.
Wow, that's early.
Oh yeah, this is the first time that they are doing it legitimately early. Usually they do it either in the beginning of March or at the end of February, but in this case they're going to try something new with the beginning of February, again with no host this time, and we'll see we'll see how that goes.
Just didn't even want to take a chance this time. I get it. Oh, did you see the video of the Claus people reacting to their nomination?
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
Oh,
That
that
is
was
sweet.
nice.
That is sweet.
That was great.
Yeah, the one that I remember more funny enough is the Hair Love nomination, Like the
Oh, I
one.
didn't see that one.
Yeah, they posted it, and like it was really nice. Like you got like the small group of people that worked on it, and then like the nomination was announced, and like they were all like praising each other. They were all giving each other hugs. It was very sweet.
Oh, that's nice. I gotta check that out.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's on social media. It's spread everywhere. Like if you go on Matthew Cherry's Twitter account, I'm sure you'll see it several times.
Hmm.
All right, so with that said, now we have put our piece onto it. Now it is time that we're going to pass on the mic to the chat wall. And it's time to ask you guys, what do you think about this year's Oscar nominations list? Are there anything you would like to comment on it? I know there's a lot to say. Like, do you think there are some snubs that you feel like it happened? Are there some that you're really happy that it got nominated? Let me know what you all think. Okay, we got plenty here. Let's see. If I want to go for my personal pick for Best Animated Feature, I'm hoping for Missing Link. I mean, I do adore Toy Story 4. I love the heck out of a lot of out of Klaus, but I feel like they have a lot more attention than the underdog. You know, the one that won the freaking Golden Globes for Best Animated Feature. But hey, the Oscars are unpredictable nowadays, so yeah, I'm rooting for Missing Link, aka the underdog Sasquatch, who's not so legendary, right? Okay, that's fair. Hopefully this time
Hmm.
around that hopefully this time like the missing link people would be ready in case they actually do win. Like
Hmm.
did you actually see that little moment in the Golden Globes when they actually won?
I did not see that, but I bet it was surprised. I bet they were surprised.
Oh my god, it was actually pretty funny. It was pretty funny. They were not prepared. They were even up there like, why am I holding this? Why are we here?
That's actually really cute.
Oh yeah, no, it is worth a watch. All right, let's see now. I never really cared for the Oscars, but I want Endgame to win Best Visual Effects so Thanos can get his Infinity Award at long last. As for Best Animated Feature, I want Klaus to win, but it's very likely Toy Story 4 will win given the past years except for Spider-Verse. Except for a few others as well, but I digress. I wish they can continue that though, but this year's animated films will be interesting for the next year's nomination, and dang, I'm surprised Joker got a lot. Endgame should have gotten a lot too. Well, I mean, I guess technically, like, if there is one positive outlook for Joker, is that at least this is a moment of celebration for the DC fans that they got a movie where it got the most nominations out of all of them. I mean, last year Marvel got their shot with Black Panther and technically Spider-Verse as well, if you count that, but like with this year though,
That's kind of a not entire.
it's kind of a maybe kind of, but it's like a different story. But like at least for the DC fans, they do have like their major representative movie, so at least like this is a celebration for them if there is one positive outlook to take from all that.
Yeah, maybe they'll all be quiet now.
Maybe.
It's been like you got your thing, okay? DC movies are now not automatically terrible. Good for you
but
guys.
but my thing is the Snyder cut. Can I have that
This
now?
be quiet. It's
uh,
still probably not good.
All right. Anyways, well, in terms of my nomination predictions, I did got a perfect score for Best Animated Feature and Best Picture. In terms of the animation category, we do have the Producers Guild tonight and a few weeks with the BAFTAs and the Annies. And as for original song, I'm basically rooting for I'm Gonna Love Me Again, and I'm glad Spirit is not nominated in there either. Also, Netflix has basically ruled the Oscars this year in terms of nominations, including 2 for Best Picture. With snubs, you also got Taron Egerton for Best Actor. And yeah, like I would say
What did he do this year?
Taron Egerton, he
Yeah, what
played
did he do?
he played Elton John in Rocket Man.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and that's another notable snub that many people would mention is that he did a great job as Elton John and he didn't get nominated. But actually, if I may put my little piece onto if I may put my little piece onto Best Original Song, I am actually pleasantly surprised to see Toy Story 4 getting another nomination. But honestly, if I could be realistic, I wouldn't be surprised if it is I'm Gonna Love Me Again that would win. Like, yeah, Let It Go got lucky, but I don't think Into the Unknown would actually be the big winner, especially when Rocket Man is the movie where it's about Elton John and we have an Elton John song nominated. So I'm sure there's a major chance that they'll just go for Elton John because Elton John.
Yeah, I'm fine with that too.
Yeah, let's see, what other comments do we have here? I think it will go to Missing Link just because the Golden Globes, but I do think Klaus was a protest vote, so Lion King could not get in. Okay, yeah, I don't know why some people think that. I don't know why some people think that The Lion King would even have a chance to be nominated for Best Animated Feature. If you do look at the category for, or if you saw the short list for Best Animated Feature, The Lion King was not in there. It wouldn't have a chance to be nominated anyways. So I don't know where people got the idea that, oh, The Lion King is going to get nominated at the Oscars. Like, maybe because of the Golden Globes that did that sudden twist, but no, it wouldn't happen anyways.
Yeah, that was hilarious. No, I don't think Disney even wanted to put it up for that, so
Well, yeah, of course, because they're still
there were still other things they also could have nominated, and that people would have just put in front of it, because I think that at least most people get that it wasn't that great.
Yeah, I think they're getting the picture now. I mean, considering that these Disney live action remakes, they have a very short lifespan anyways, so I think they're getting the picture that people don't necessarily care about the Lion King remake. Like they got a lot of money, but that money has become dry. It's back to the cartoon now.
I mean, that's all basically what all of them are for. They're pretty much all being made for money and will be forgotten in time pretty quickly.
Yeah, in just a few months.
Right.
And I'll go read one more comment before we're going to jump on to the next story. If you ask me what I think will win, I'm rooting for Klaus, but honestly, I have no idea. It's entirely unpredictable, unlike the Best Original Song category. Don't get me wrong, I like Into the Unknown, and I wasn't expecting I Can't Let You Throw Yourself Away, but it's so obvious the winner is I'm Gonna Love Me Again from Rocket Man. But I do have one question sitting in the back of my mind. Does this mean Lion King is the third animated feature to be nominated for Best Visual Effects? Yes, I would say, actually. I mean, that is true. I think that does actually count as the third animated film to be nominated for Best Visual Effects, and the first CGI animated feature to be nominated, so yeah, you do bring up a good point. Like, not many people want to talk about it, but I mean, it is true, though.
Seems about right. What are the other ones that were nominated?
For Best Visual Effects?
Right.
Well, there's Endgame, Rise of Skywalker, Irishman, and 1917.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those ones.
No, I mean the other animated ones that were nominated in the past.
The other ones. Well, actually, it's just The Nightmare Before Christmas and Kubo and the Two Strings.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, before it was just the stop motion films.
Well, it's nice that they at least got calls.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I guess again, I don't particularly
like you're no expert in the best visual effects category.
I'm not good. I'm not good with the visual effects. No.
Yeah. Unless everything is visual effects, then we wouldn't know what it is.
Right.